Hey everyone, this was a tough KVK for me and my kingdom. They played it really smart, and I could not get anyone to hit me, and we went on the offensive, and they did a really good job of just making sure that they were able to take our throne, and that we weren't going to have the power to overtake them. And just like most KVKs, we're ahead typically prior to throne, and we do really well at that. We do really good at solo battles, and we typically are very strong in that aspect of the game. But what we struggle at is keeping the throne and doing it in a productive manner. So it's a tough one. I joined a lot of rallies where I took more losses than I typically do. Not as many solo battles as I would have liked if I was going to be offensive. I'm going to show you a battle report where I just got owned. It's plain and simple. I had decreased my power. I didn't have good stuff on my wall, and you're going to see, and I'm going to go into greater detail, and we're going to really dig into it and see why I lost and show how badly I lost, so that way you can really see what contributes to losses even if you have a good castle. Well, here we go. So here's my first attack, and it was on a legendary castle, and as you can see, I did pretty well. This is the biggest reason why I prefer being a defensive player, is because each battle I do defensively, I get a significantly higher power differential. So if you look at our power differentials, it's not as wide as if you play a defensive battle and you're attacked and you are guaranteed to mostly wipe out their dispatch. But here, I still got a good kill differential there and power differential, but still not the same. I kind of felt like I wasted my urgent care here, but I did pretty well. My stats are okay. I split them between my cavalry and infantry because I wanted to try and get my cavalry behind his back line. And I think for the most part, I did that. He just had so many troops, and I was able to get a fair share of them, but because he had enough T10 in there, they had enough HP to soak up a decent amount of damage, so I didn't get as high of kills as I would have liked. So here's my second hit on Morgott. Wasn't as successful as my first hit, and the reason being is his T10 cavalry were able to take on my small amount of cavalry that I sent, and I think that my cavalry flanked and hit from behind and then ran into all of his cavalry, and he outnumbered my cavalry by a lot, so that's where a majority of those 22,000 losses came from. And so I lost very little amount of infantry in that. I think like 4,500 infantry. So that's kind of what happened there. And that happens sometimes. He just didn't have that many ranged units for me to kill before his cavalry was able to meet mine. So that is a risk you take when you only send a small amount of cavalry in your dispatch with your infantry. So let's look at another one. This was a target I found. We got more than 700,000 power differential. Killed off a lot of his smaller troops first. Now I sent all cavalry on this one, so no infantry. So I've said before, cavalry has the highest chance to yield the most kills, but that doesn't always reflect how many losses you're going to have. I had a higher amount of losses but more kills, but my power differentials aren't that much different than when I send infantry. They're just not as flashy, I should say. But, you know, there's definitely uses to sending a majority of cavalry to infantry. This one was alright. I still don't have my cavalry exactly where I want to. I could shift my jewels around and push it up higher, but it just hasn't been a priority for me. So here's my second hit. Not as impressive. You can see I only used an 80 Ren and Dolan hero combo. Yeah, I mean, it's alright, but a lot less losses with a pretty good amount of kills. So there's that. I'm not going to show the stats for this battle report due to the fact I don't want to give away my teammates' stats, and I think that's the correct thing to do. But what happened here was he said, "I need rain," and he did not know that Last Princesses had really good stats. As you can see, 100 Faceless Knight and 120 Rhinoc, and this isn't a Legendary 3, and this is a rally that was done on Midnighter. And so I threw in a full dispatch of T10 infantry, and they all died. And I got, I think, 4,000 kills out of that. So that was not a good start to the KVK. So that was just kind of the turning the corner on how this KVK went. Like prior to this, I had only had a few solo battles, the 3 or 4 that I showed prior to this one, and this was not a good one for me. So I'm just gonna flash through these because these solo battles aren't anything spectacular. They're just solid hits that were done. Nothing spectacular, just, you know, hitting as I go. Oh yay, there was a whip. Didn't hit anything. Alright, this was a rally that we had on this legendary, I think legendary 2 or 3, I can't remember. But as you can see, we lost. And it's just straight up due to the amount of troops he had, and that his stats weren't significantly worse than Anna's. They were pretty solid. He was getting reigned by legendary 3, so he had T11 in his castle, and they did a really good job of defending us, and we took mass amounts of losses on that, and that really damaged my ability to fight later on too, because we just weren't able to knock this guy down. Now we tried again, and this one fared a little bit better, but we still lost. And he did well defending that, and congratulations to him. Just not good hits. I like the fact that we're actually got rallies off, but when we lose, it's not good. So here's an attack that I had on this guy. Pretty successful attack. I ran a straight Faceless Knight Rhinoc combo, and that did pretty well for me. I can get my infantry stats pretty good off of that. So yeah, almost got it to 1 million. That was 900,000 power differential there, so I was pretty happy with that. Here's another hit on him again. So did pretty good that time too. So good hits. Liking it. Alright guys, so I'm out hitting people, not doing what I was supposed to do. This is an example of what a legendary 4 can do to you when you don't do what you're supposed to. You don't set yourself up to take hits. I was clear down to about 9 or 10 million power at this point, and yeah, he came in, swung and hit at me. I had troops out, and he hit me hard. It sucked. I'm not, invincible. I take heavy hits just like anyone else, and as you can see here, I just had Ren and Raffi in my castle, and it's okay stats, but I know I can be a lot higher, and that would have helped. I mean, I still would have lost, but it would have helped. So, I mean, let's look here. Yeah, it's what happens when you have just a ton of legendary 4 coming at you, and it's not the amount of troops that I need in my castle to be able to defend. And as you can see here, I didn't send out my siege. I didn't send out any of my stuff, and they don't really do anything for me. They didn't, in this case, hurt me, but as you can see, I didn't have any reinforcements, especially when I'm that low. That's helpful. But yeah, no, I was not set up to take a hit like that. And so if you're playing as I am and you're fighting at a disadvantage, you need to find ways to give yourself the advantage, or to at least equal the odds, so that you're on an equal footing. So trying to play with these guys when you don't have a way to give yourself an advantage, you might as well do what I did after this. And what I did after this was I'd swing in really quick and hit a castle, right? I'd swing in, hit it really fast with speeds, and then guess what? I'd just bubble right up. Didn't even give them a chance to come in and hit me, because guess what? I wasn't able to fight anymore with my power diminished as it was, and without the ability to have reinforcements at that point. I had to change my tactics. I had to go into just come in really quickly, hit them, and back off. And that's what you got to do sometimes, because you're not always going to be able to take the hits that you want to. I actually have to put in a lot of preparation to do what I've done in previous KVKs by taking hits by all these other people. I've had to stack my troops just right so that I was able to defend the spearmen, and that I was able to have the right correct amount of troops to do that. And that's something that I'm constantly working on, and as I train more T10 infantry and T10 cavalry, I have to adjust. I actually have to train more T9 infantry to keep up with the amount of T10 infantry I get, because the T9 infantry gives special effects that the T10 don't. Now, they both are very specialized and they can both do different things, but guess what? T10 are really good at soaking up damage, but if you don't have enough T9 infantry to strike damage back at these T11 infantry, you're just going to have a whole lot of dead T10 infantry. So here's a suggestion for you guys. T10 infantry are not very good at fighting T11 spearmen. They're just not. It's unfortunate, but if you get enough T10 infantry and you also have a good amount of T9 spearmen infantry, you can kind of equalize it, so that way all your T10 is sharing the damage and they're not all just dying right away, and your T9 infantry are able to do the mass damage back. So that's just a suggestion. We've also seen some success with, I hate to say it, T10 archers being able to restrain these high-powered infantry that the legendary 3s have. So that is something you can consider doing. Apologies, my video cut out. The point is when you go into a KVK, you need to have a plan, and you need to stick to it, and you need to stick to it to a degree, but you need to be able to improvise. So, know what your strengths are, stick to them, and if you know that your plan is changing or needs to be adapted, adapt it, but make sure that you make up for those things that you are lacking. So when I pulled my Rhinoc off of my wall, I knew I was putting myself at more of a disadvantage than I would be if I was hit, but I had been hit once all KVK, so I got arrogant. I was just hitting people free and clear and not even worrying about the consequences. Well, guess what? I got consequences. So I hope that's a lesson that you won't have to learn, that I was able to learn for you. So here's just the rest of the hits before KVK was over. Nothing impressive, some blind hitting. Just kind of going after people, just trying to get kills. So at that point, I already knew I was going to have to heal a lot with KVK water. So it was an interesting KVK, nothing spectacular. Alright, KVK Warriors, that's all I got for you. Congratulations to Kingdom 238. You did really well. I appreciate you guys being a respectful group of individuals and just giving it your all and giving us some things to think about. We're gonna rethink how we do Throne, and we're gonna work as a team more in the next KVK. Anna took first again. It's nice to see her back up on top. So, Rise of Kings released a day ago, I think, that there's going to be new heroes coming out. 2 cavalry heroes and 1 infantry hero. And so that'll be interesting. So, hopefully we can get a purple hero of any kind out of one of those, and we can start working on those. So, that's something to look forward to, guys. Well, this is Mars. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side.